Thanks for staying with us. Now, two great men who helped shape our history and culture being honoured through jazz. The Orbit is celebrating Nelson Mandela and Hugh Masekela. The event is happening tonight or later today. Musicians who performed with Hugh in the past will be on stage. And with me is the Orbit's co-founder and managing director, Kevin Naidu, and Leo Piri, who is the executive producer of Being Mandela. Gents, thank you so much for joining us. We know it's always difficult in the entertainment industry to have
morning. Thanks for having us.
Call times, but it's such a great project. Leo, perhaps we'll start with you. You think Nelson Mandela, and then you think Hugh Masekela, and then you think, where do we even start? Tell us how you started putting this project together.
Okay, great. Yeah, so just to give you some context. So, Being Mandela is a concept in partnership with the Nelson Mandela Foundation that uses entertainment to celebrate Madiba and, more importantly, sustain his legacy. So the project that we're doing, I mean, with the concert tomorrow night, it's in partnership with the Orbit. And for us, we're looking at producing...
Is it tomorrow night or tonight?
No, tonight. Let's get that.
We know that right.
Exactly. It's been a long week.
Yes.
But anyway, so that's tonight. So it's part of a series of 6 concerts using music to celebrate Madiba. And obviously, who's more befitting than Hugh Masekela to kickstart the series.
So each concert will focus on a different musician, is that correct?
That is correct.
So tonight, the whole series starts off with the music of Hugh Masekela, but in honor of Nelson Mandela's centenary. Is that kind of right?
Yes.
What the Orbit, I would think, I'm a big fan of your venue because one of the few places in Johannesburg where music really does take center stage. You have had concerts in honor of Hugh since his passing, but tonight's concept is a special one, isn't it, Kevin?
Absolutely. We actually came up with the concept before Hugh's passing.
Oh.
And we, of course, had wanted him to perform and to start the series off. And unfortunately, he passed, and then we thought, well, it's not going to happen. But then looking at it, we thought, no, it's actually good to go ahead with it because it becomes a tribute to Hugh Masekela and to Nelson Mandela, or you know, his celebration of Nelson Mandela. So we thought, no, this has to go ahead. In fact, it's more important to go ahead now. So that's really how it started. But I think, of course, you know, we as the Orbit, we look at music and jazz as yes, it's a great format, it's great music, it's creative. But also the outlet of South African jazz has been that it allows people to connect emotively with a topic. This topic being Nelson Mandela and his life and the struggle of apartheid. It's very different to maybe read a book or listen to a story.
It's something that moves you physically, doesn't it?
It moves you, it makes you feel something. And I think that's important for us as South Africans, you know, not just to, yes, we talk about all of that, but to actually feel, be it the pain or the celebration of, or the memory of, or whatever the case is. And that allows us to just maybe cleanse a little bit. And I think that's really what it's about today.
Leo, if you look at the lives of these two men, both so impactful, as we just said in the introduction, in the shaping of South Africa, culturally, politically, in every which way. The parallels between their lives, Hugh living in exile for so many years, not being able to come home, but using that position he was on internationally to bring a message of hope and to make people aware of the atrocities that were taking place back home. And at the same time, Nelson Mandela incarcerated on Robben Island for so many decades as well. So these two men kept away from their homes, as it were, but yet being so impactful. It's a special mix to bring those two together tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I think for us also there's a bigger narrative in terms of why we're doing this, in terms of how music, and more specifically jazz music, shaped, you know, the struggle. So I think for us, it's looking at in terms of how music influenced the struggle and in terms of how music takes us to where we are today. So I think that's a big narrative that we wanna convey. And in addition to the concerts, we're also looking at producing a documentary where we can expand that narrative.
Just very quickly, Kevin, back to the musicians. I know many musicians believe that the Orbit has become a bit of a sanctuary for them, a space where they can really express themselves musically, especially in a traditional format like jazz. They must be taking tonight's concert quite personally, because I believe you've got quite a few musicians who had a relationship with Hugh, instruments that were given to him, to them.
Yeah, absolutely. A number of the members of the band and others, of course, Hugh played a huge role in helping musicians also realize their own dreams, and he was very much about youth development, developing the youth, and so that comes across in all the stories. Oh, he did this, he told me that, he gave me this instrument. That was all instrumental and at critical moments, I think, for a lot of musicians to shape
such an important part of his legacy as well.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, we've run out of time, unfortunately, but all we can say is,
yes.
Do we go online to get to the Orbit? What do we do? Are there still spaces available or not really?
There might be. I haven't checked this morning. People have been phoning all night.
So can they go to the Orbit or call the Orbit?
Call the Orbit or info@theorbit.co.za. It's 500 Rand a ticket with food, 3-course meal, or 250 if you just want to come in and have a drink.
And to find out more about being Mandela, where can they find more information?
Great. So on Instagram and Facebook, we're at Being Mandela, and then Twitter, Being_Mandela.
Because if it's not on Instagram, it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Our guests, Kevin Naidu and Leo Peary, telling us about a very special concert, kicking off a series of concerts happening at the Orbit tonight.